Make your way in, have a seat, start your lunch if you haven't had an opportunity. I just wanted to say I'm a people person. I love being around people. It's been a really hard 2-3 months, except for that time when I was painting. It didn't really bother me. But I do think this is the first time I'm wearing my name tag in 3 months. So all right. Everybody ready? So I'm going to start off this morning by introducing our dignitaries that are here with us this morning. With Senator Bob Hall's office, we have Jacqueline England. Is she here yet? With Representative Dan Flynn's office, we have Representative Dan Flynn. Thank you for coming, Dan. And with his office also, we have David Aronakis and Jeannie Ash. Thank y'all for coming. With the City of Greenville, we have Mayor David Dreiling. With the Greenville Board of Development, we have Chairman of the Board, Terry Thomas. He's also a former Greenville Chamber Ambassador there. David Ellis, Chet Haney, Barbara Carter, John Dixon, and President and CEO Greg Sims. Thank y'all for coming. With our Greenville Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, we have our Chamber Board President, and that's Willie Morgan. Where's he? There he is. Paul Kelly, Alicia Price, Sheila Bussell, and Mayor David Dreiling. Thank y'all for coming. And last but not least, we have a good number of ambassadors here with us this morning, and we always thank them for their help. We have Ambassador of the Year, Tracy Fenton. Say hi. And we also have Kami Williams, John Clark, Rose Hayden, Liz Patterson, Sheila Ellis, Eleanor Hill, Alyssa Davis, Lonnie Schoenfeld, Leanne Bledsoe, Debbie Sickles, Shannon Hansen, Kalina Crossley, and our brand new ambassadors that are just getting trained are Vinay Hudson and Chasen Carpenter. Thank you for coming. This morning, I would like to announce our main course partner and a Gold Elite Partner, Alliance Bank, as well as the food is by Cotton Patch Cafe. And I do want to mention thanks to our video partner this morning, GEUS, as well. I'm going to turn the show over for a moment to our friends at Alliance Bank, if y'all want to come on up and give us what your thoughts are.
We're good. Good morning, everybody. I'm Cynthia Cornejo. I am with Alliance Bank here in our Greenville market. I'm one of the branch managers. As many of you know, Paul Painter, he unfortunately wasn't able to be here today. So we've got myself, Sheila Bussell, and Josue Lopez here. We're going to talk a little bit about the bank in general, what we've got to offer, how long we've been here, etc. So Alliance Bank in Greenville, and as a matter of fact, next month, we will be here for 30 years. So it'll be our 30-year anniversary here in our Greenville market. So aside from that, we do serve in 5 overall different counties: Franklin County, Hopkins County, Hunt County, Rockwall County, and Collin County. Our Collin County branch is just a loan production branch at the moment. Hopefully in the future it'll expand to where we can offer full services. Aside from that, all of our other locations, we do full service banking with accounts, loans, mortgages, pretty much the whole works. During this entire pandemic, we have been servicing our customers and we've been open, our drive-thrus during that time, but as of May the 18th, all of our locations have been open to the lobby for the community to be able to come in and do whatever banking needs that they may have. Of course, we have to follow strict guidelines, but aside from that, everything has been working well. We have been promoting a lot of our online services for those that still maybe don't feel comfortable enough to step into the branch. So we've got our ATMs. Not only do they do cash withdrawals, but they also do deposits via checks or cash. We offer our mobile deposits where you can snap a photo of your check with your phone and deposit it. And then just in general, our online services, you can pretty much do all your banking needs that way. But if not, again, you're more than welcome to come into our lobbies and we'd be happy to see you. In general, just in the banking, we also offer other services. We do have an insurance agency, which is Galleon Insurance. They provide any type of insurance needs that you may have. They are located within our bank here in Greenville, their head office in Sulphur Springs, and then we've got one in Rockwall, along with our financial services. Shatamra Alexander, she oversees our Alliance Bank Financial Services. So we've kind of got everything you can think of under one roof. Other things that we've done, just in general, we are pretty involved in the community. We try our best to be out there to support the community as much as possible. This year would be, I think it's our 12th year that we've done the Alliance Bank scholarships. So for the last 12 years, we've provided eight $8,000 scholarships to entries that we get from students throughout all of our markets. Till this day, we've got a little over $1 million that we've contributed to that. And even during this pandemic this year, we were still able to provide those scholarships to those students. Yeah. And then aside from that, we also provide a junior advisory board program within all our markets where we take one senior from each one of the Hunt County schools. They come to the bank once a month and we just kind of give them an overview of banking in general, teaching them how to save their money, balance a checkbook, just kind of give them that financial knowledge that they may need in the future. At the very end of it, we take the students to Fort Worth to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and then they get to see how that money is made and distributed. So that we're, I think, on our 15th year on that as well. And then just aside from that, you know, we've been with the chamber for a long time. Not just the chamber, we've participated in many community events, other nonprofit organizations, been part of many boards. We love doing what we do. We are very blessed that our board of directors and our CEO encourages us to do those things, and we don't look to be doing away with that anytime soon. So I'm going to let Sheila Bussell speak. She is our mortgage lender. She's got some pretty exciting news in general about our mortgage and what we've got to offer with the low rates. So Sheila?
Good afternoon or morning, whichever we are in. This is a time that has really amazed me. I have been in banking since 1979. I've seen the ups, I've seen a lot of the downs. Right now, our rates are at a historical low. I kind of pulled them this morning to kind of tell you where they're starting. We have right now, we can get a 10-year as low as 2.5, and these go up to the 30-year, and the 30-year begins at 3.25. Never have I ever seen them that low. We're doing a lot of the refinancing right now. I see people coming in with 4 or 5, a few 6s, but mainly 4 and 5% looking to do the refinance at a lower rate. Right now we offer the conventional USDA, FHA, and VA. The FHA is, I think, has been, and I'm not going to say I think, I know it had been put on hold a little bit, but I'm sure we'll start that up soon. The refinancing is all I can say about the banking mortgage area. Not that we have not been continuing to do purchases during this time. The purchases did fall off, and I'm sure a lot of the realtors in the office here or in the building here will say it a little bit, but it's picked back up. So if you would like, at any time, I will be glad to sit down with anybody and talk about a refinance, a purchase, or any other type of a product that we have. At this time, Josue Lopez.
Hello. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what else I can say. I think they did a good job covering everything, so they didn't leave me much. And I was trying to write my speech just right now and only got 3 sentences. But now, talking about mortgages that Sheila just talked about, we are still doing mortgages, and construction loans are actually, I'm really busy right now doing construction loans, so that's good. People are still building. The economy is moving along for sure. We are trying to get back to regular business. We never stopped lending. A lot of people were asking us, hey, what are banks going to do with everything that's happening? It was normal business for us, of course, with some restrictions, but we never stopped lending. With that being said, we took on a new job working for the government with no pay. We started doing their PPP loans, and we did several of those. We're still doing them. There's a lot of questions, a lot of opinions. As a matter of fact, the Senate passed the bill yesterday with new revisions. There's really nothing much I can say about that right now, just because I haven't seen what are the actual changes, because they're waiting for the president to sign it today. But there's changes to come, and a lot of it is related to the loan forgiveness part. So just remember, we are here for all of our customers and for our new customers, and we're going to figure this out together. With that, I'll leave it to Byron.
Thank you, Alliance Bank. We appreciate your partnership. With that, I was going to announce our elite partners. Our platinum partners are Nissan of Greenville and Greenville Hyundai. Our diamond partners are L3 Harris and Texas A&M Commerce. Our gold partner, which just spoke with you, is Alliance Bank. Silver partners are Solvay, D. Earls Tax Service, American National Bank, Money Law Firm, First American Title, Cornerstone Insurance, Family First Home Health, Hunt Regional Healthcare, and Lone Star Credit Union. And finally, our bronze partners are GEUS, Waste Connections, Advanced Industrial Metals, Landon Winery, Atmos Energy, the Steinbach Organization, Kinsey Abstract and Sabine Title, Hancock Whitney, Vision Quest, and TX Roofing. Thank y'all very much. I'm going to run through some housekeeping for the chamber real quick before I turn everything over to Tim. First, I do want to announce that we are going to have our annual auction event. We've moved the date to July 25th as opposed to July 18th, which is where it was originally planned. We're going to do a revised event with that event. We're still going to have an auction. That part will be stepped down a bit, and we're also going to add probably a casino and some other fun things to do during that event so that people can come have a good time. I think a lot of people are ready to get out, and we're going to do our best to have a fun event for y'all to attend. I do want to talk real fast about the Hunt County Business Journal. I put a couple of copies on your tables. Also, there's plenty for y'all to take with you if you'd like at the end, right over here on this table. It's really important for y'all to check your directory listings that are in there and get those updated if you need to as we continue to print those. I do want to show you that we do have this journal in digital copy on our website that you can go directly to. So not only do we have an online directory for people to find you, but we have a printed directory that is also digital. These get shared a lot in links. People are always asking for recommendations. If I see somebody looking for recommendations for employee agencies or anything else like that in a business sector, I always go and copy that link from the business directory into Facebook or into emails or anything else, text or anything else. So that's how those are shared. I do want to talk about our directory listings real fast in order. Deanna's going to show a screenshot of the Greenville Chamber listing. This is what a basic listing would look like if you haven't filled anything out. But we've actually gone as far for as an example to show the about section. So some people have become members and they've gone as far as to fill out a little about section about themselves, but they have more they can do. I also want to show you the Commerce Chamber of Commerce listing, which has just their information. This is a basic listing if somebody joins the chamber, and we put in the information generally, And this is what a member would look like if they did no more on their listing at all, but you still have more you could do. Once you join, if you go in there and fill more out, you have more to put. So I want to take you to Alliance Bank. Their directory listing, they are enhanced, and this is what an enhanced membership listing could look like. So that's where you can put in photos, videos, website, more about. You have more capability to put in keyword searches. You have some of that on basic, but you have an expanded ability on enhanced. But we also want to show you Land and Winery because that's a good example. You have that one up. If you go to Land and Winery, they've gone as far as to actually put in videos and things. So they did like Alliance Bank, but they also added video media and other things. These are really important for us as a team. We share lots of information that are brand new to our community or looking to move here or looking to visit here. And when this information is filled out really well, the conversation becomes enticing than to become instead of explaining detailed information. So it's really good that you participate in that way. I do want to show and thank Shelly Corrales. She's been doing something in our database that I think is really neat. We're going to go to our restaurant sector listing to show an example. But because so many people in our directory are members, and year over year they're members, they haven't gone in and filled out a whole lot of their directory listing. Shelly has gone through the trouble of starting to request logos from members and going in and putting them in there. And I think this is really important for y'all to know because we have 43 restaurants that are members of our chamber. And through this pandemic is one of the ones we shared the most. And sharing a link like this with all their logos shown looks like we're on our game. So these are kind of some opportunities for you to take advantage of with your own business. Make sure you're listed correctly. I also want to talk a little bit about job postings real quick. While Deanna pulls up that screenshot of El Phoenix job posting to see what one can look like, I want you to know that our job postings, when y'all do job postings and let us know that you've posted one, and we share them from our social media channels, they literally reach thousands of people. We had one job posting that reached 22,000 people, had 12,000 engagements. So it just depends on the type of posting and what you're looking for and how it reads, but I try to do a really good job to make things look enticing for people to check in. So they're really important, and we have the ability to do that for you. And very lastly, I want to introduce to you something that's going to launch next week. Y'all know that when we do our weekly newsletter, we have about 400 opens on that newsletter a week. And we have about 100 people clicking on things within that on a weekly basis. But we started putting that on social media about 6 months ago. So it automatically goes to our Facebook page at 6 o'clock in the morning on Fridays. But we've been using a standard default thumbnail with that says a newsletter on it. And we want it to travel further. So Deanna has created a new emblem that we'll use on Chamber News. So when we launch Chamber News, this is what you're going to see, and we want y'all to share that. It's really important to know that on the sharing of the newsletter, we're sharing your logos, we're sharing your events, we're sharing your information. Almost all of our newsletter is about y'all, not us. We do put our event information in there, but we also put your entity's calendar events that y'all put in our calendar and so forth. So you're sharing your own news. So please know that that's there, and please share that with us. I've talked enough about us and our chamber, and we're so happy to be back. I'm going to now read Tim Nichols' bio real quick, our headlining speaker. We'll do that at the end. So, Tim is with us. He is an author, speaker, relationship marketing strategist here locally. In 2012, Tim Nichols left the big name banks and brokerage firms to open an independent financial practice in a town where he knew no one, with $0 in assets under management. Within his first 12 months, he had grown his practice to $3 million in assets under management. By metrics used in the financial industry, he had grown his practice by 3 million%, with no radio, no print, no digital or social media advertising. It was the sole result of his 3,000,000% process. That was the sole result of his 3,000,000% process. With the success that followed, Tim authored a book, 3,000,000%, 5 Proven Keys to My Success with the Chamber of Commerce, and created a peer advisory training program that is organically spread throughout the United States. These business growth groups teach the process, mentor implementation, encourage active engagement, and establish community and accountability. In April 2019, Tim found that the demand for his relationship marketing strategy had progressed into its own standalone business that required his full attention. After 17 years as a financial advisor, Tim sold his financial practice to continue to create, write, train, mentor, and transform business owners into dynamic influencers. And with that, I'll give you Tim Nichols. Thank you for coming.
Let's get into the thought leadership part. So I want you to do an exercise with me, okay? Spell out the word, or tell me the word with the spells, P-O-T-S. Pots. Say it again with me. Pots. 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 What do you do at a green light? Created some confusion there, right? Now, I never said the word stop, right? But you'd been given the material, P-O-T-S. I had you say pots. It was repeated in your mind. It was programmed to where when you were asked a question, it confused you on what the response should be. Okay? So I encourage you to focus. We've got to focus, and we've got to create thought leadership for yourself first. Deanna? So change your focus. Zig Ziglar said you can have, one more. You are who you are and what you are because of what you put in your mind. You can change who you are and what you are by what you put into your mind. Okay, so if you're programmed to hear the word COVID, coronavirus, stop your business, take out delivery, face mask, things like that, what does that do? All you hear is stop. Stop your business. Decrease, shrink, right? So you've been programmed, get the feedback. You've been programmed to think negatively, right? So we've got to change your focus and change your own mindset, okay? Zig Ziglar also said, and this is what I implemented and how I became successful with these 4 strategies, is you can have everything you want in life if you'll help enough other people get what they want in life. You get that? Sorry about that. I was not cueing you. Okay, go ahead. So take massive action. You can take massive action today and begin implementing these strategies. And so Tony Robbins actually had this diagram where it's called the success cycle. If you increase your belief, you will increase your potential, and that will give you permission to increase your massive action, and which will give you bigger results. And what this does is it forms a cycle, right? So if you increase your results, you'll increase your belief. You'll increase your potential. You'll take bigger massive action. You'll get better results. And it keeps going up and up and up. Now, when you start hearing negative programming, it works the opposite way too. So when you hear all these negatives about things that you have to stop doing, right? What happens to your belief? What happens to your belief? It goes down. So what happens to your potential? It goes down. What action do you take? Less, right? What happens to your results? They're less. How many of you have had lesser results because of this, right? I think a lot of us have. And so then, once we get lesser results, our belief goes down, our potential goes down, our action goes down, our results keep going down, right? And it's so frustrating. We get very frustrated because we think it's us. We think that we're the problem. But what happens is it's what we're putting into our mind that's the problem, right? So we've got to change that mindset and actually take that perspective off of us, right? And if you can start pouring into other people, loving on people where they are, right? You can have everything you want in life if you'll help enough other people get what they want. I took that mindset and I made a business model out of it. That's what all of this is. Next. So, back up one. Okay, good. We're where we need to be. Sometimes I get talking and I forget what side I'm on. All right, so forward. So once you've made that turn in your focus and in your mindset, you need to engage. Okay, you need to engage, and here's how you engage. Here's how you use the Chamber of Commerce, like I did, to create that engagement. First of all, let me ask you, what's the difference between engagement and participation? Anyone? Activity, right? But you can still participate. I think it's the intention of the activity, okay? Now, what's the difference? Well, I'll tell you what the difference was for me, all right? I moved to a town where I didn't know a single person, and I went independent as a financial advisor. So as I opened up Nichols Wealth Management, who cared? Nobody knew my name. Nobody cared, right? They might have tried to care from a personal standpoint, but from a business credibility standpoint, nobody cared, right? So what I needed to do was find people who cared, right? So I started pouring into other people. I started mentoring other people, all right? Started helping them to grow like I was growing, teaching them what I knew. And before long, those people cared a lot about who Nichols Wealth Management was, right? Now, the other side of that is, let's say you take an established, I'm going to use a bank and not to pick on Alliance, but just they have already relationships throughout the community, but I'm going to say time. They have time and size to their advantage, right? And they have money to their advantage. Not just them, but this goes for banks, schools, big manufacturing corporations, anything like that. They have all of those advantages over a small business or an entrepreneur. So, do they need more relationships? A lot of times, no, right? They want them, and they need to maintain top of mind awareness, but they don't need necessarily the direct one-on-one relationships. So what they can do is actually use their influence for branding, right? They can sponsor events. They can sponsor events, and it maintains that top of mind awareness, okay? They can even hire people to do social media, right? I was having to do all of my own stuff. I didn't have the money to hire. I didn't have the money to do advertising. I didn't have the money to do print. I didn't have the money to sponsor chamber events, okay? So I had to change my mindset, right, where I had to growth hack my own influence. Y'all might not have heard the word growth hack before. I know it's kind of a new term, but what that means is shortcutting that influence process. If I could grow my own influence within the community without having to have the time and the money that others had to do that, that's what I needed, right? So I learned to create engagement versus just participation. I didn't need to just go to events. Let's take a golf tournament, for instance. So I learned this lesson by going and sponsoring a team and putting a lot of money into it and stuff like that. And I went around with the same 3 people I brought. We spent 6 hours on the golf course, and I saw the same 3 people I brought. Okay? And what I learned was I didn't have the money. I didn't need that branding, right, of being a sponsor of the golf tournament, stuff like that. Now, not to take away any sponsors, but from a small business standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, what I needed were the relationships, okay? So I thought, if I can't sponsor, I will find the chamber sponsors. I will go and volunteer on that committee, and I will go door to door if I have to take the conversation off of financial, and I will put the conversation on how do I grow you, right? So I would go into businesses and say, hey, I see you have a chamber sticker. I see you have a chamber plaque, right? How's your experience? How can I help you grow? And they're like, who are you? Oh, I'm Tim. I'm an ambassador, right? So I never said, hey, I'm an investment guy. I'm here to talk to you about your 401k. No, that wasn't it at all, right? I was there for a different reason and took that focus off of me and put it onto them, right? That was my change in mindset. You can have everything you want in life. If you open up, other people get what they want, right? And so I started pulling them into the chamber as a platform, right? So I was recruiting them to join committees with me. I was recruiting them to sponsor with me. I was recruiting them to the event to engage with me, right? So I was building those relationships just as fast as I could go, right? So what you want to do is serve alongside, go back one. So serve alongside the highest level thought leaders, right? So find who the board of directors are. Go serve by them. Find what committees they're on and go join that committee. Find what events they put on and go do that. What I learned was even how to use the banquet to my advantage. So a lot of times the CEOs of these corporations, right, they wouldn't come to a ribbon cutting unless it was their own, right? So I learned to prioritize what events I went to and how best to use each event. And then I started mentoring other businesses to do what I just learned, right? So you can engage in thought leadership roles that create opportunities for the broader community, which would be some of those committees like partnership, membership, things like that. Ambassadors, serving capacity to deliver business items to these big companies that you can't ever get into, right? I know here Raytheon's big, or L3, I mean. So L3, it's hard to get in there unless you're an employee, right? But you can find out who works there and go help deliver stuff and things like that. So you can actually circumvent that system by finding a way through it. Now you can move forward. Now, I get a lot of questions about why I dress the way I dress, right? I used to be a suit and tie financial advisor, right? When I left the big banks and brokerage firms, I went out on my own. And my first office I opened at Preston Center. At that one intersection, there were 200 financial advisors at that same intersection. Now, it didn't matter if they wore an Armani suit or a JCPenney suit. We all wore suits. And we went to restaurants. Nobody wanted to talk to anybody in a suit, right? Because they were afraid you're going to sell them something, like it could be financial advisor, insurance agent, attorney, any of those type professions, and they just wanted to stay away from who was in the suit, right? And so when I moved out into the communities, I learned, especially there, nobody wanted to talk to anybody in a suit. I could actually go to a restaurant and it would clear. One time, I went to a Chick-fil-A in my suit with my cowboy hat and cleared the restaurant. They thought I was like high-level law enforcement, like Texas Ranger type stuff, And so I learned that combination probably isn't ideal, right? And so I started taking it down and playing around with it. And so I had actually tried the golf polo and the khaki pants and all that kind of stuff. Well, out in these smaller communities, that's what a lot of people wear, right? So it hit me that as I started wearing, I think I started wearing fedoras first, right? And my dad was a bank president and CEO, and he taught us boys. I have two brothers that are also financial advisors, and he taught us growing up that it was a bigger challenge to get people to give you money with your Western wear on, because they're usually the ones borrowing for cattle or something like that, right? And he was like, don't put those challenges in your way. And so I had tried to make it more community, town square type stuff. So I was wearing fedoras and vests and bow ties and all that kind of stuff. And so what I learned was that as I made that transition, it turned prospecting on its head where people wanted to talk to me. I no longer had to go to them. I've been sitting in a sandwich shop and just have customers come to talk to me. Who are you? What do you do? Can I have your card? And now it works that way on LinkedIn. So here, I just have a profile picture up, and I've gotten to where I ask, why did you connect with me? Because I liked your red coat. Because I liked your bow tie. I thought you had a cool hat. Had nothing to do with my profile, my background, my work history, anything like that. So what I became was Reunion Tower. No matter where I go speak, I can describe Reunion Tower by the tall tower with the ball on the top and forget its name. And everybody in the audience tells me Reunion Tower like I'm stupid, right? Like, how do you not know that? So I wanted to be that in my local community. right? So when they describe me, oh, he's the guy with the vest, he's the guy with the bow tie, he's the guy with the hat. Oh, you're talking about Tim. You see what I'm doing there? So you want to become memorable and visible within your community. Somehow set yourself apart. Okay, Dina? Now, this might be worth the whole trip right here. Okay? Jeannie Ash and I were just talking about this. And so what you have with existing centers of influence, if we were to look at this chart as an organization, as a community, anything like that, this existing center of influence would be the people that have been there a long time. They already carry a lot of influence, okay? Maybe they grew up there. So Jeannie was saying she's only lived in 3 houses ever in Greenville. She's never moved out, right? And so that existing center of influence there is present almost in any community that you go to. Now, what I learned to do is a lot of times, like I actually had this in the community I was in with an attorney that had been there for 30 or 40 years, and he said, I already know everybody I need to know. You know, which he was right to a point, but in a fast-growing community that would double in size the next 10 years, he was missing out on a lot of business because he had that mindset of, I've already got enough, I don't need any more, I don't want to meet new people, stuff like that. So what happens is this type of a group that has that mindset, they just turn inward and they just meet with each other all the time, right? They just talk to each other, and there's not a growth type of a mindset. What I learned to do to grow fast and become viral, and this is not a play on the current virus, I was talking about this before that, okay, but like a virus spreads fast, that's what I was doing. So I would go into an event or a community or something like that, and I would go build relationships with all these yellow circles. Those were all the people that were new to town, new to business, right? Maybe they just changed jobs. And so I started helping them. I built relationships here too, but I started connecting these people to each other, right? And connecting them to the existing centers of influence. It helped the existing centers of influence because they were not actively going out and seeking those relationships, but the people that I was meeting on the outside, the yellow circles, they needed those relationships. So I started acting as a liaison to the existing centers of influence. And before long, all of the yellow circles were looking to me to introduce them to the existing. See what I'm saying? Now, also, I would take the yellow circles and introduce them to each other and help them, mentor them, teach them to mentor one another, connecting the dots. That's what I was doing. So, all the people that I had been mentoring, I got to a place where I was mentoring about 20 businesses at one time. And that's where I noticed I've got a problem with my financial practice because I'm mentoring 20 businesses at a time and not getting paid for it. And I'm just helping them grow. They were referral generators for me, but I needed to change something. So I started mentoring them how to mentor others. And so they started mentoring other businesses to grow. And so in doing that, we formed the 3 million % growth groups, which are peer advisory, and they help each other grow. Okay, and we're going to get into that too. But this strategically captures thought leadership. So if you took this group and you took them in with you, and all of you move as a team and you work that community together, work that room together, and you start connecting people to your existing centers of influence, right? You can multiply your growth rate. Okay? So that's what I did. And then I started teaching them to each bring 2 people. Each of them to bring 2 people into that room, if you will. Okay? So then it started multiplying even faster. But what happens is whoever the invitee is, whoever's doing the inviting, the invitor, their influence grows with every new person that comes in, especially of the ones that they're mentoring. And so, go ahead and flip it. So what that does is it creates that magnetic referral relationship and converts that into a revenue stream because you're deepening relationships quickly. You're elevating your profile within the community. You're leveraging networks. You're building credibility fast, and you're establishing this sense of community among those, right? So in those groups, I wrote curriculum for this. I have a book, which I'm going to give all of you a free ebook today, but I did bring some paper books in case anybody wants to buy one. But we teach the 3 million% process that I just explained, and then mentor that implementation. Everybody can read books. A lot of people have read Ziegler and Maxwell and Dale Carnegie and things like that, but they read it and they don't do it, okay? So this is the combination of all of those, and we teach how to implement that, and then encourage active engagement. So they move as a team, and they say, hey, are you going to this event? I'm going to this event. Come go with me. Bring somebody, okay? And then we establish community and accountability in that, right? So when everything stopped and we couldn't meet each other live anymore, our growth groups just switched to virtual and kept on going, okay? In fact, we had actually somebody in this Greenville growth group. I think it was a combination of several growth groups that she's in. She had come to the group and said, I think I might be going out of business because I'm an event planner and I have no events. She was renting out tables and chairs and doing decorations and things like that. Her group came to her and said, no, you're not going out of business. We're going to find alternative income streams for you, but we're also going to share ideas with you to help you make this turn. So they helped change her mindset to where she even changed her product and her process. She started making balloon bouquets and stuff like that. Last time I checked with her, this is the most money she's made year over year in 3 years. Okay, does that have a direct impact? Yes. Did that come from me? No. That came from her group offering ideas, asking questions, giving suggestions, and making connections. Okay? So, next slide. So, action plan. What can you do right now? Right? You can join a 3 million% growth group. Ha! That's my plug. But you can implement that and move as a team. And this is not intended as a sales presentation at all, but it is an active thing that you can do to implement right away. You can utilize a live event funnel. So here Byron is trying to create live events as fast as he can again, right? And you just got this happy hour added back and things like that. Bring people who either are idle, confused, maybe programmed to the negative. Bring them to those events to re-engage them. Help change their mindset. Change how they view themselves. Change how they view their business. Okay? And you start bringing them to things like happy hours. Okay? They might not be ready to come to a luncheon like this yet. Okay? But you bring them to somewhat innocuous events that don't seem to make a difference to them, but you can introduce them to people at the happy hour, maybe ribbon cuttings. You can introduce them then to the luncheons, but you start making these connections for them and taking them and introducing them to people you know. This works really well for introverts and people that are new to business. Okay, if you've had somebody that's been an employee mindset for a long time and something happened where they lost their job and now all of a sudden they find themselves as a new entrepreneur, what's the best thing you could do for them? Help them make the connections that they don't know how to make, right? Especially to the people that they need to meet the most, right? And then invite to those events. And then volunteer for committees. Byron needs your help. The Greenville Chamber needs your help. Your board needs your help. Go volunteer for those committees. Go think differently. Go present ideas to Byron and the board. If you see something that needs to happen, speak it. They will help you do it. Okay? And then create appointments and connection goals as you go to events. So, did anybody set appointments coming to this event? I could probably walk out of a room like this if I was on any given day as a financial advisor with at least 4 appointments, right? Was it all financial? No. I tried to make them not financial. They were one-on-one appointments to learn how to help each other grow, right? So I encourage you today to at least try to schedule 2 of those. 2 one-on-one appointments to learn how to help each other grow. They only have to last 15 minutes and they could be by phone. Okay? But that's my encouragement to you. There's those scheduled one-on-one appointments to learn how to help one another grow. So next slide. So here's the free ebook offer. I need you to pull out your phone and take a picture of this QR code. That will get you, I'll get out of the way. That will get you the free ebook. And you can download that as soon as I can get, it'll send you an email response, and there will be a link to download the ebook. Now, it's only like 60-something pages, right? So it takes maybe an hour to read, but it takes a while to implement, right? I even did an online course, and it takes an hour to get through the course. I'm so proud of my daughter. She's 17 now, and she wanted to make captain of the drill team over in Commerce. Unfortunately, all this coronavirus stuff hit. But I started working with her at 16 to change her mindset. So I had her take my online course so it won't be dad saying it. She'll be studying it, right? And so she spent an hour alone on 15 minutes in the Key 1 chapter on how to deepen relationships quickly. Took 2 pages of notes. I was a very proud dad. And so she actually started working with that, and here she was going to be a senior. So she started working with the freshmen who weren't getting the routines and working with them one-on-one to help them figure out what to do next, right? What they're doing wrong. She was videoing them, helping them walk through that. But what was she doing? She was growing her influence on that drill team by working one-on-one with all the freshmen, and then all the sophomores that didn't get it, and then the other juniors that didn't get it. And I said, by the time they come to vote, you're already their thought leader. They have no choice then to make you captain, right? So that's how that works. And that's how this process works. Everybody got the QR code? Now, this is how to connect with me. So this QR code gets you to my Blue Social link, which that has my name, cell phone number, email address, all my social links, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Okay? And so I've also got my email address there, Tim@3million%. I think that's it. Okay? So feel free to contact with me, be in contact with me, but come learn from our experience. Be encouraged, be victorious. Thank you. I'm Tim Nichols.
Thank you, Tim. That's what I also try to do. I like being around encouraging people. I like encouraging others, and I think that there's a lot of similarities that we have. So thank you. We've been wanting him to come for quite some time. Next, we also have a really neat thing about to happen, and I do want to thank Ray Lancaster, my friend over here, that really pushed, when all this started happening. He called and wanted to make sure that the chamber stays active, that the chamber tries to be virtual, chamber does whatever they need to do to make things happen, and so I've invited him here today to give him a round of applause. Thank you for that. He's an engaged member. We have our first virtual speaker today. Her name is Felicia Clark. She is the Vice President of Public Relations and Communications. As many of you know, chambers of commerce are accredited organizations with the Better Business Bureau. I want y'all to understand this as a chamber and what she's about to deliver to us, because we get involved with lots of things with businesses. We also get involved with lots of things about consumers here locally. We have consumers contacting us wanting to do something about businesses because businesses aren't doing things right, and they want us to go take a broomstick and knock them over the head and tell them to close and all kinds of stuff. And we have businesses that have trouble sometimes with dealing with patrons, and they want to do the right thing. And that's a lot of what Better Business Bureau does. So I'm going to open it up for her to talk. I do want to mention that we put a lot of information on your table, but most of it is by ones, except for her business card and the trifold. All of this information is available in bulk over there. If y'all want your own copy or multiple copies for your business, you're welcome to do that at the end of the events. Are you ready to bring Felicia up? Or she's there. Hi, Felicia.
Can you guys hear me? I am. Can everybody hear me? I hope so. All right. Well, everybody, I'm so happy to be here today, and I really want to thank the Greenville Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to speak today. Shelley, Byron, and Deanna have been wonderful to work with, and it's interesting that the chamber in Greenville has had 107 years of working with businesses in this community, and we're turning 100 this year too for serving North Texas, and the relationship is really great. I know that the chamber has been accredited with Better Business Bureau for at least 30 years, and we value our chamber so much because we have a shared mission and a shared goal of growing business and giving businesses opportunities and helping them to thrive and to do a lot of outreach that makes that possible. So again, I'd like to say I actually am VP of Communications and Public Relations, but I started off as an investigator, and you heard Byron mention that a little bit, that Better Business Bureau does that. And I've had a great time learning and growing with Better Business Bureau. So what I'd like to do is show you guys a little PowerPoint, and I don't normally talk about accreditation, but I've been asked to. I normally do outreach, so I'm going to start off with talking about what Better Business Bureau is, and then what Better Business Bureau does, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it means when you get accredited with the Better Business Bureau. So I'm going to bear with me because we're doing this live stream. You have to adapt these days, and we're learning because I'm piping in all the way from Dallas, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you guys the PowerPoint, and then we're going to open it up to questions. So I'm going to start with this. You guys let me know, please, Deanna, when everybody can see what I see. All right. So we're going to turn this on so you guys can see. So let's start with what Better Business Bureau is. So everybody recognizes this bottle. We know what this is, snake oil, right? So, back in the day when Better Business Bureau was founded in 1912, we had a problem of charlatans going from city to city and town to town, advertising things like this, promising that they can cure everything and basically scamming the citizens, the local citizens, into buying this stuff. And then they disappear in the middle of the night and be off so that nobody could do anything. And the business community throughout North America, actually, Canada and the United States, decided that they wanted to do something about it. So they started these committees that ended up being Better Business Bureaus that would catch these people, and they would publicize on a grand scale that they were lying and defrauding people so that by the next town, they wouldn't be able to sell a drop of this snake oil. So Better Business Bureau started way back when, but we're doing the same thing. We're an independent, nonprofit, business-supported, like I said, and business-started organization whose mission is to advance trust in the marketplace. We work for both consumers and for businesses because we feel like the relationship between the two, and we talked about relationships, is so important. So we're that pillar that's upholding that relationship between consumers and businesses. BBB serving North Central Texas covers about 29 counties, everywhere from Dallas all the way to Wichita Falls and the surrounding areas, all the way up to Oklahoma and all the way down to Waco, and nationwide and in Canada and Mexico, there are over 100 BBB offices. And unlike a lot of companies that do a lot of what we do, we believe that it's important to be hyper-local, which is why we have individuals on the ground within driving distances of all of the businesses that we serve. Why we think that relationship is best upheld when you've got somebody in your corner that you can go talk to. I'd like to show a quick video. Again, hopefully the internet will cooperate with us, but it's going to give you an idea of what BBB means to businesses and what the community of businesses does to come together to become BBB.
Looking for a business you can trust can leave you stumbling in the dark. Sometimes you need expert advice, but you're not sure who to ask. you know which businesses have your best interests at heart. Better Business Bureau, or BBB, is an independent, nonprofit organization that has spent more than a century building a community of trustworthy, accredited businesses. We shed light on the businesses that serve you every day. And we hold businesses to a higher standard so you don't have to. We value businesses that put you first and give you the service you deserve. Don't get left in the dark. Find a business you can trust. Ask BBB.
All right, so let's talk about what we do for consumers, our consumer arm. What the businesses that support us make this possible. And we believe that if we protect consumers' income, if we protect consumers from being defrauded or scammed, that makes it so that they can go ahead and do business with the businesses in the community, and they have confidence that they can trust businesses, which will make them spend more. So here are a couple of services that we offer. I'm trying to distill this down for time purposes, but also so that we can kind of get a simple overview. But the first is dispute resolution. People know us for that. It's basically we come together with conciliation, mediation, and arbitration to help resolve disputes that might arise between customers and businesses. I know you guys are business owners and representatives, and you know every once in a while, no matter how good the relationship is, something will go wrong. And BBB is there to help keep it from escalating and to help the communication keep flowing, so that we can make sure that those customers come back for more. We also do customer reviews. They're very different, dispute resolution and customer reviews. Dispute resolution means that the customer actually wants to work to get an outcome, a resolution. Customer reviews, as you guys know, are the wave of the future where everybody just wants to talk about what their experience is with a particular company, because that's what the way that people research businesses nowadays. They go online, they look to see what they can find. So we do customer reviews too. The difference between our customer reviews and a lot of the other ones that you'll see out there, like with Google and Yelp, is they're not instantly posted. We have human beings in local offices where these businesses are. So the people handling your customer review are going to be where you are. Those people are reading them, and they're making sure that that is actually your customer. So we're screening for anything that might not actually be yours to make sure that it's valid and that we verify it. The other thing that we have is scam tracker. Somewhere along the lines, starting with that snake oil, people started thinking of Better Business Bureau when it came to scams before they even started thinking about their police departments. They would call us up, and they still do 50,000 times a year in our local office here in North Texas, but they would call us up and say, is this a scam? So, we started developing some tracking methods so that we could get out useful information to people to warn them in advance that something was a scam. And I'll show you what that tool looks like in a little bit later. We also have investigations. Every local BBB office has to have investigators in that office to exist. Again, it goes back to our original core mission. We talked a little bit about what do you do when something is going wrong. The chamber's not necessarily going to handle that, but if you call Better Business Bureau, we can put somebody on it to look into it a little bit deeper. I started off as an investigator that did advertising, so false advertising and deceptive trade practices, and it was super exciting and really fun. We're just a nonprofit, but you'd be surprised how much stuff we can figure out. And then also, lastly, the way that we get our information out, the way that we help consumers is to package it in a business profile. So it'll show everything that you need to know that we could figure out about that particular company. We give companies ratings from A+ through F based on what we can find and based on what consumers are telling us about whether or not that company can be trusted. So, people are just trying to figure it out, and the easiest thing for them to do is go online, do a little reading up about it. So we offer those business profiles for consumers. So BBB accreditation, another one of our services. That's how we support ourselves. We wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I'm talking about without you guys, without companies that want the world to be great and make what we're doing possible. So in North Texas, we've got about 6,500 accredited businesses in our 29 counties. Hunt County is one of them. I think we've got about 64 in Hunt County, but here are a few that you might know about. And one of the oldest, one of our benchmark first founding members was Neiman Marcus. They joined in 1920 and have been supporting us since then. Southwest, I think, joined in 1971. So these are big companies that that people might recognize that have made what we've done possible too. And the other thing to remember is that accreditation, it requires a vetting process. Because you're licensed to use that seal, there's a 13-point vetting process that involves 5 different departments so that we look into all kinds of things, like whether or not you got the right licenses, whether or not there's been any kind of talk about you or the government has sued you for anything, anything that a consumer would want to know before they do business with you. And once you've got that right grade, because you have to have a high enough rating, you have to have higher than a B. And also, we found that, you meet our standards of businesses, you can go forth and use that seal to leverage trust. So what would the world look like without a BBB? And Stanley Marcus said it best. Basically, if BBB disappeared overnight, they would instantly start a new one because somebody's got to be watching out for the marketplace and trying to make that marketplace better. Without it, it's not a safe space for businesses to conduct business. We think when consumers trust you, we think when they have income to spend that hasn't been stolen, and we think when businesses are given some special tools to grow and connect them with the companies that they're looking for so that they can start to develop those relationships, everybody benefits. So, to give you guys an idea of how we do it, over the years, we used to send snail mail, we used to take out publications, but now we have moved online and it has exploded. On a yearly basis, nearly 154 million people will look for businesses and do research on them before they decide whether or not they're going to go with them. A lot of times they're trying to compare. They're trying to compare between this company and that company and figure out whether one might be a little bit more trustworthy than another. And we hope that we're helping in that decision. And 3.4 million people are looking up charities. We're very philanthropic here, especially in North Texas, but you don't want to give your money to a nonprofit or to a scam operation that's pretending to do something for the community. You want to make sure that who you're giving to can be trusted. So people come to us to figure those things out. Without Better Business Bureau, we wouldn't have that information out there to inform consumers. This is where you're going to find it on our website. And the most popular thing that people do is just go on. It's geo-targeted, so it knows where you're located when it looks this stuff up. You type in just a category, and it's going to give you a list of companies in your neighborhood and show you whether or not they're accredited and show you their rating in real time. You can click for more information, but this is just a good way that customers will just get a list of the companies that they need that are near them. So that they can start researching to do the things that they need to get done. And also, I'd like to add that we have about 3,000 different type of business categories in our database. So any kind of business could be found when you go in looking on bbb.org on our website. The other thing we do, and we've talked a lot about this, is we try to keep businesses honest. One of our central tenets, and part of the reason why we were founded on snake oil, is that we believe in truth in advertising and we believe in honesty in business and ethics. So, we've got people on the ground doing investigations, mediations, and arbitrations. Advertising reviews are basically just working with companies to make sure that they're complying with all advertising regulations in their industry. And we've done that as an organization on an annual basis about 37,000 times. Then you come to my job. My job is super, super fun. Whenever, especially as an investigator, you find something that you just have to talk about, I work with the media all over in this, in our media market to get the word out about what's happening. Sometimes that involves talking about specific businesses that we've tried to get to do the right thing and they don't. And sometimes that's just an outright scam that we need people to know about so that they don't get injured. And here are just a few of the things that we've done. Some of you guys might have heard of the Social Security administration scam calls. I got to work with NBC on that. And then also we got to do a national story on Match.com and some of their auto billing practices where they weren't telling people that they were going to recharge them. But, you know, sometimes these things really make a positive difference. In this particular case, Match.com, after that story came out, came to the Better Business Bureau and gave about $250,000 worth of refunds to people that were surprised that they were going to be charged at the end of, you know, their service. So, you know, we really try hard to make sure that companies do the right thing. And Match.com has really cleaned it up. They answered about 2,000 complaints in 2 months. So those people were really happy with the outcome, and we made it safer for consumers to really trust businesses. So here's another one too, free trial offers. This was a fun one that we did. You know, the internet I talked about is the new way that people are getting everything. And, you know, we did stories basically to warn people about, you might see a celebrity out there selling something, but it's really just scammers that are using celebrities' pictures to get you to type in credit card information and, you know, and lose money. So, you know, we really take joy and pride in warning people about stuff like that. And to give you an idea about our database, we are a massive, it's in over 100 years, you can collect a lot of information. So we're a massive repository of information on companies. And a lot of companies, about 6,400 companies in the area that you guys are in, that we have information on. And it's 5.5 million in North America. And about 127,000, it's actually higher scam tracker reports that we're issuing. And we will issue information on any business. And the only criteria is that people are looking for you, that somebody called us, or that somebody typed in your telephone number or your name and tried to search you on our website, or if you're starting to get customer reviews. If there are people that are looking for you, then we generate a report for you. Only 400,000 of those 5.5 million are BBB accredited and support us. Not all of them are eligible, of course, of the 5.5 million, but it's important to note that the accredited businesses are an elite group, you know, a group that really wants to make the world a better place and really, really wants to make what I do possible, the outreach, the reports possible. And here we go. So this is where you would see the information about a particular company. You can scroll down, but this is just an idea of what they can find there. They can read the customer reviews and the text of the customer reviews. In some instances, you can get a quote if it's a contractor. It'll take you to the company's website to purchase if you are a different type of business. But these are the things that people are checking regular to see. And then Scam Tracker. So this is a super important piece of what we've done. We've only been doing it since about 2015, but I hope that the people in the audience remember there have been so many data breaches and so many big company security breaches. And this happened after Target Corporation, had a huge data breach, and they were the victim of scammers that were ripping up people's credit card information. And Target was livid, and they're an accredited business, so they came to BBB and said, what can we do to fix this? So we built this website where you can type in a number, an email address, a keyword, and find out whether something you think might be a scam is a scam. You can also report it. You can go to bbb.org/scam tracker and fill out a report and say, I got this email that looks fishy to me, and they ask for money or whatever the scam may be, and tell Better Business Bureau about it. And what we do is put a pin in it on the map, and it's a heat map, which means that you can look at the city of Greenville and barrel down into your own neighborhood to find out what scams are happening around you. And it's an amazing tool, and we've had so much, we've been able to apprehend criminals because we've had so much real progress with this. So we love it. And then also, we work with government agencies. We're just a nonprofit, so we don't have enforcement power the way they would, even though we have investigators. But when we think something is fraud, we give it to the agencies that we think can do something. And the Federal Trade Commission, a lot of people don't know, has something called the Consumer Sentinel Network. So the Consumer Sentinel is a big database that has all of the scam reports and reports of fraud everywhere, and multiple law enforcement agencies, almost all of the law enforcement agencies, use it to instigate casework and investigations to go after people for fraud. And Better Business Bureau, on one point, and maybe still, was the single largest private contributor to that database, so that they can go out there and catch the fraudsters, the scammers, the people that are taking advantage of people in your community. So, and then, we do some happier stuff too. We do outreach, and I have a program called the Student Video Contest. I know they do it in a lot of BBBs throughout the country, and we go into, I drove for like 400 miles before this stuff kind of grounded us, but we go into high schools and we teach students about smart consumerism, and then they have a student video contest where they make commercials for us. I realize that I'm not the best at talking to young people these days, so we let them do the talking for us, and they target each other, and we use those on social media, and they're super fun. And then also, I'm not going to go into all the programs, but one of our really, really prized and important programs is our military line program. Better Business Bureau has always had a great relationship with our military, and we've always valued military families. And, especially because in our service area, we've got a lot of military installations. We're really active in some of those. But what we do is we go and we have special programs geared towards military families to teach them and to keep them safe. And, they don't let you on military bases a lot of times, but we've cultivated those relationships so that we can make sure that the people that are serving us and giving so much to keep us safe are safe themselves too. So again, you've seen just a handful of the services that we provide to the community, but basically there are two reasons to join Better Business Bureau. I'm supposed to talk about accreditation. Bear with me. I'm not in business development, but I know a lot about it. So and if I don't know something, I can definitely get back to you and get those questions answered. But the two reasons are, one, because you want to make the world a better place, because you want to make sure that those programs that we're running in your local communities and, and for the citizens of each city and town and near the 100 offices that we have are still happening. If you want that to happen, then it's up to the business community to make it happen. And they support us because of that, because of our mission to make the marketplace more trustworthy and safe for everybody. We have, and again, it's a little bit more now, about 400,000 accredited businesses. And those accredited businesses also uphold our standards. That's because these businesses want people to know that they are committed to ethics and they are committed to, being truthful and honest and treating their customers with respect and building those relationships that make sure they stand apart. And then the other reason why you would join Better Business Bureau is because we are on the cutting edge, or at least we like to think so, of teaching companies how to grow. We are trying to figure out from a customer service standpoint and then also from a digital online reputation and online presence standpoint, what it is you need to survive as everything is constantly changing. And, when you join Better Business Bureau, you're given an individual representative, a district manager who's supposed to help usher you through the process and be there for you to make sure that you're maximizing everything that your accreditation entails. So when you join Better Business Bureau, one of the first things that you're going to get, we know that sometimes there are crazy customers, and we know that sometimes, things are not, really the business's responsibility or fault, but, they get lured into lawsuits. And lawsuits are expensive and lawyers are expensive. So as a benefit of joining Better Business Bureau, we offer one no-cost arbitration, which is binding and legally enforceable to companies that need it. If you get into a situation where you just need an arbitration to get through a situation and you don't want to invest the thousands of dollars that it would take to get into court, you can just come to us, and we have arbitrators that are certified and know the process and can help you get through that and can work with you to reach that resolution. Then also we have some affinity programs, and again, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but this one is new. Hearth is a company that offers an app. If any of you guys in the room have any contracting services or companies that do renovation or roofing or any of that, this app will allow you to go in when you're doing your estimate and you're talking to those customers and developing their relationship. It will allow you to head off when that customer says, "Oh, that estimate's too much. I can't afford it right now. I got to go research some options to finance that." Hertz app will allow you to type in some information in real time and get it from that customer and get them some quotes immediately for financing. That way you can close deals faster. And again, this is a discount, a really deep discount that you're going to be able to get because you're a member, accredited business with the Better Business Bureau. The next thing is an enhanced business.
Felicia,
Yes.
so
yes.
we want to open it up for questions so we don't run out of time.
Sure. Oh, excellent, excellent.
And I did want to mention that we did work with one of your reps about 9 months ago, and I don't know if our numbers are accurate, but in this area we have about 100, or they were saying we have about 100 accredited businesses in this area. Just to kind of give you here locally what that means is we have 556 current members of our Chamber of Commerce and hundreds more that aren't members in this area. So 100 versus the numbers that you're telling us, it's good information about why we should pay more attention to this.
If someone's not accredited with Better Business Bureau, it is still a process where a human being in our office is going to look at that complaint and take it through the process. We have very strict standards on whether or not something constitutes a complaint, especially important to a lot of businesses, that get them. But if you're not accredited, we're going to answer it, and we're going to go through the process and instigate, contact that company, try and get them to reach a resolution the same way we would do with accredited businesses, and they're held accountable. So I mentioned having a rating system. Accredited businesses answer their complaints because they care, and they don't get them quite as often. It's rare most of the time. But non-accredited businesses, when they get that complaint, that just like anybody else, it can affect their rating. So we work through that process. We start a dialogue between the consumer and the business. We send letters back and forth. We contact the company and we ask that company to work with the consumer to get them happy. And then it can be closed in a variety of ways. It can be closed as resolved, which doesn't have a big impact on the company. It just means that you guys reached a resolution. Or the worst thing that a company can do is not answer. So it's important to note that we treat companies the same when it comes to complaints, and that 5.5 million, any of them can get an F for not making a customer happy.
Thank you. So having been part of the the hotel business, I know that I had to respond to a lot of the TripAdvisor complaints, and I know that some of them are valid and some of them are bogus, and some of them just take one little problem and make it into a gigantic mountain. So when people complain to you, does that complaint go sit somewhere online that people can actually look up and see?
Yeah, it does. I want to backtrack just a little bit. The important part, too, to mention is I talked about the complaint being closed in a variety of different ways. The beauty of having human beings, unlike a lot of other companies that post this stuff online, looking at this, is they can decide that the business either did try really hard to resolve it or didn't. And they're trained and they're given a very tight set of protocols to do it. So it's important to recognize that we don't take sides. We know that it can either be fair for the business or the consumer, and we're going to close that accordingly. The other thing is that, people are coming to research online. You hit the nail on the head. Basically, the complaint itself will go online, and consumers can use that information and sort of get a feel for, what was the nature of the dispute, how did the company handle it, and we try to be really fair to show the whole story, but we do make that public so that people can research, and people use that to decide whether or not they're going to go with one business over the other.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there anybody here that has any questions? Shelley has a cordless mic for you to ask questions if you have any.
I'm excited.
Tracy Fenton.
Yes, hi. I have had experience in my other businesses I've worked for with the Better Business Bureau. But one thing I wanted to ask you was, with the increased use of social media reviews like the Google reviews, a lot of people will go to Facebook now and other sources. Has that seen a decrease in the traffic across your sites on people actually going to you to look for business reviews?
Did you hear that?
Actually, yeah, that's a great question. Amazing question. It has not. One of the slides that I didn't get to is why it's so important to have that BBB seal. Because what we found is that people tend to recognize the BBB seal as a trust mark. So even though the playing field has gotten really massive with regard to places where you want your business to be seen, and people are, using every way to leverage that, Better Business Bureau is super, super relevant. They trust us. So Alexa is a company that is run by Amazon, and it gives a priority. Basically, it gives a popularity rating to companies. And in the United States, it ranks about 300 million companies. And we are in the top 700 as far as popularity because we are such a trusted site. So going with Better Business Bureau, making sure that you have a business profile with us that is enhanced if you're an accredited business, and you have access to the back end to make that the best that it can be, is super, super important. And we have not seen a decrease because of all of the other ones, because people are really, really interested in seeing that seal. That trust mark is like fourth recognized under like McAfee and Norton. So, you know, that little seal does a world of difference, and people are still trying to figure out from Better Business Bureau, you know, who they can trust and who they can't. We're also, to my knowledge, one of the only companies that actually gives an A+ through F rating. So consumers really enjoy that. It makes sense to them. So I think that we're still relevant, but it is interesting now because even, you know, Facebook is actually a BBB accredited business and they actually work with us on investigations. So it's really interesting for us to see the way that things have changed and know that we still have a really important part to play in it. But excellent question. If I answered it, hopefully I answered it.
All right, thank you, Felicia. So we've asked the Better Business Bureau to be part of some of our other events as vendors and so forth in the future. Like I said, we have a lot of information here, but she's available. She's only in Dallas. She's in their Dallas office, and we have access to get more questions to her if you have them. We want to thank you for visiting with us today, and thank you for bringing the materials out yesterday and meeting with us, and we hope to see you soon again, Felicia.
I can't wait to see all of you guys, and I know I'll be up there soon. But one other thing I wanted to mention, our Director of Business Development said that if you're already an accredited business, and maybe that was 64 that are accredited. Yeah, well, that's what I said. I think 64 to 100 that are accredited, maybe in Greenville, but you know, in 100 in Hunt County or the surrounding areas. But if you're already an accredited business there, he wants to offer you some special, you know, I won't use the word free, but included advertising online for you. So give him a call. And if you aren't accredited and are interested, if you call us, you'll also have the advertising opportunities as well. And that's just some super, you know, high profile listings on our directory when people go searching. So please give us a call. You got my my number if you need me. And again, I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and I'm so proud of the work of the chamber.
Thank you. Thank you for working with us.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to mention. First, this just came about yesterday, working with Greg Sims from the Greenville Board of Development. We have some first responders, both T-shirts and yard signs available that will be for sale through the Chamber of Commerce. Each one is $10. I don't think we have the yard sign up here, but that's in support of our local first responders. If you'd like to purchase these, we've already been selling them. We don't even have them in stock yet. Come by the chamber or give us a call or send us an email. They'll be at our place beginning June 16th for pickup. So let's support our first responders here locally and show them some love that way. Also, I want to thank the Greenville Board of Development for the work that they've done to try to spread the news of getting back to business. Y'all have seen the full page ads that we've been doing in the Herald Banner. That's in partnership with them. The businesses have them to thank for that. Greenville Board of Development is a wonderful partner here locally, and they care about businesses and keeping them in business. And so thank you, Greg, for the opportunity to work within the board. Yes, thank you, all of you. Let's give them a round of applause and thanks for all of that. Lastly, we do have the opportunity for if there's some business news out. Shelley, you still have the microphone? Is she still in the? Oh, there she is. Business news. We care about our businesses and what you're up to. If you have something to add to the event, let's hear it now.
We've been very prepared, thank goodness, overly prepared for what we have seen. We continue to do so. We appreciate your patience with the limited visitor allowance inside the facilities, but that truly is for our most fragile patients. We understand that if there's a birth, that makes it very disappointing when you all can't rush up there and see the new baby, and we appreciate the fact that y'all are understanding. We hate to be the bearers of bad news on that kind of situation, but as you've all seen, that we're all trying to do our part and make sure that we are doing everything we can to keep our community safe. So I will be here after the meeting. If you have any questions, I'm happy to address any of those for you. And again, appreciate your support, your patronage, and we are so glad to be part of Hunn County.
Thank you, Rose.
Hi everyone, I am Tracy with Employee Solutions, and we are located in the train car off Wesley Street behind Casa Taco. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we are open. We have essential companies that are hiring. They've been running this full time, so if you have somebody that needs work for the summer or know anybody looking for work, please come by and see us. We are, like I said, we are running full steam. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do everything together. We do everything as a team. There isn't one person that does more over another. We are all glued together. This is a really good time for us to understand what a chamber does, why we're here, what we do, because these kind of things happen. We do this every day. I did a Facebook post about this, but this is the work that we do every day, aside from the COVID-19. So we're out here doing this, whether you've noticed or not. But it's really important in these times that we pull together in community crisis like this and stick together and pull out. So thank y'all for coming today. We did have reduced numbers. We probably had more than wanted to come. So thank y'all again, and we look forward to the business after hours, Paul and 10 Cups Tavern, and let's go have fun there, and thank y'all and network from here.
This video has been brought to you by GEUS 34. GEUS is your community-owned provider for electric, internet, cable TV, and true local programming.